What number is this going to be?
2018-04.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, 2018.
Yeah, we did while you were gone.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't there because we met with Abbi. John, a good meeting.
All right, well, that's good. I just thought about it. Is Angie still in charge? I didn't see anything.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone to our August 6th meeting of the Whitley County Board of Commissioners, and we'll start our proceedings with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with a hearing. We're going to have a public hearing on the preliminary findings on the apparent right-of-way along Raber Road, 300 South. Nathan?
Thank you. Never know. Do you have a quick PowerPoint to kind of go through, explain what we're doing? Yeah, if you would switch over, please. As you might recall, back in June, the commissioners had adopted a preliminary finding of right-of-way, of apparent right-of-way, and that finding was to be 40 feet wide, 20 feet from the center line of the road. And the area that we're talking about is from along Raber Road from the city limits down to 300 South, and along 300 South from Raber Road over to 600 East. To explain what assumed and apparent rights-of-way are, in Whitley County, best as I can figure, county roads have always had, or since at least the 1900s, have had an assumed right-of-way of 40 feet. And that just means that's what people generally consider to be the county road right-of-way. There are some exceptions that were formally dedicated. Page Road, for example, I could find evidence that it was actually created at 40 feet. Unfortunately for these two roads, in particular for Raber Road and 300 South, they were established long before the 40-foot concept really was formally established. So that's why they're assumed right-of-way. The right-of-way would be the area used for both the road pavement, the side ditches, public utilities that have the right to use the right-of-way, and so on. What this process does is it converts that assumed right-of-way into an apparent legal right-of-way, and by state statute, it then gives the commissioners the legal authority to control that right-of-way as full legal right-of-way. Of note, it is not eminent domain. That's a very different process. What we're doing is taking what's already being used as right-of-way and, again, just making it legal as an apparent right-of-way. Going on, the state statute is Indiana Code 821-15.5. And that outlines the overall process for how to go from an assumed right-of-way to an apparent right-of-way up to the maximum of 40 foot in width. There needs to be research, so a survey was done in conjunction with the force main sewer that's going to be running along here. That's the only real connection between the two different projects, since there was a survey done for that force main. Made sense to go ahead and use it as the basis for this process as well. Observations, just generally seeing where the road looks like it's going, deeds, subdivision plats, other records, and so on. I did do some historic research. As I mentioned, I found Page Road in that historic research, but not this. That then led to the recommendation and preliminary finding in June, which then leads to the hearing that we have today on that finding and the comments that will be received. And then after that would be an ordinance establishing the final apparent right-of-way. And you do have copies of a tentative ordinance in front of you that you could consider after the hearing. Next slide. Just for everybody's, I already described it, but this is the map that shows the route in question. The blue line in the upper left corner is the city limits, and then 600 East is the road on the far side. Goes from Raber on down to 300, and then out east to 600 East. For reference, this is an example of the survey that was done, and I added some notations about distances. What you can see, and then the comparison with what the aerial view is below. You can see that for pole lines, electric poles, for example, those are generally within 20 feet of that center line, as you would expect. If you look to the east up a little bit, there's a railroad tie fence post and a T-bar pole post, that's at 18.5 feet, 19.9 feet, give or take, generally showing that that's where the property line has been assumed to be. And then as you look at the far east end there, it's 17.38 feet for that pole as well. Again, you would expect the utilities to be on the right-of-way line or just inside. Seems to be all the way along. That's where they've been. There are other instances, similar instances of fence posts also ending at, give or take, that 20-foot mark, give or take a foot or two. I couldn't find anything closer. And also notice that in this case, when you look at the aerial, the center line of the road doesn't necessarily line up with the property line as shown in orange. So it's actually just a couple feet offset. And then I also pulled this particular location because it shows Stott Estates and Lingering Meadows, both of which were subdivisions that had dedicated right-of-way done in previous years. So they actually have 30 feet of right-of-way along that side in that portion, and that's already been dedicated. And that's not going to change with this. It's only the portion that hasn't been formally dedicated or otherwise acquired. Again, just the assumed areas. So next slide. As I mentioned, this was the preliminary finding for the apparent right-of-way for this area. It's 20 feet off of center line for that stretch of road. It's roads. So I guess that's generally it. I've got one more slide for the hearing itself. Per the state statute, as I mentioned before, for the hearing, owners of land in Whitley County may object to the preliminary finding, as I just showed, present evidence in support of or opposition to that finding, or propose changes to the finding. And then, based upon that input, you can make your decision about the ordinance.
Okay.
So, any questions for me at this point?
Commissioners?
No, I don't have any.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Step aside.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call for any objection or any comments on the preliminary findings. Okay, being none, I guess
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2018-04.
That's an ordinance establishing the apparent right-of-way for certain highways within Whitley County.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve the ordinance number 2018-04.
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll close the hearing, and we'll begin our commissioners' meeting, the regular meeting. Start with our attorney's report.
Thank you. The only thing I had to report on is that I reviewed the ordinance that you just adopted, and that Nathan did a good job preparing, and it was fine with me. And then Janet gave me a Peterson Consulting Services agreement, which I looked at, and also appears fine. It's just, she said, an extension of a previous agreement. So
Okay.
this looks fine as well. Unless you guys have any other questions at all for me.
You need a motion for the,
Yeah, we might as well take care of that.
well, I'm sorry,
For the Peterson Consulting.
No, I don't. I move we accept it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the contract for Peterson Consulting for the auditor's office. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, Debbie Beers, changes in polling location.
This is just one signature.
Just one signature.
As I know that you're all aware, about 8 years ago, when I was first elected clerk, the county election board and we got together and we discussed on how we could help to save money for our taxpayers and for our voters here in Whitley County. And one of the things that we decided to do, we had 36 polling locations, which meant that we had to have poll workers to work all of those polling locations. What we decided to do was do some combining. So we combined a lot of our precincts together, and we were able to cut down from 36 down to 19 polling locations. We still continue to look to see if we can do that, and one of the areas that the county election board, due to some, not really complaints, but some concerns that some of our voters had from Columbia South. Columbia South polling location is located at the Columbia Township Fire Department Fire Station on Radio Road. That's where we've had our polling location for several years now. The complaints being is that there's not enough parking. It is ADA, handicap accessible, but just barely, meaning the bay door is open, so anyone with a walker or with a wheelchair can get through. But the fire trucks are right there. You can get through, but just barely. It's uncomfortable. The room where voting took place was a very small room. It's where the poll workers were and where the voters. It just was tight and not the best location. So the county election board got together and decided that they were going to combine Columbia South with Columbia Northeast and Northwest. So in doing so, that will then cut down the amount again of poll workers that we would need for Columbia South, since they would be combined with Northeast and Northwest. And the voting location for that would be the First Church of God. First Church of God has a lot of parking. It has a big, beautiful foyer where voting, the election takes place. So that is why I'm here. This is a recommendation from the county election board, and it is up to you on whether or not to approve that.
How do the numbers look?
Well, and I knew you were going to ask that, and when I got here, I was like, oh, I wish I would have brought the numbers. The numbers are good. We are not over what we should have. I do know that as far as what we should have in a polling location. I don't have the exact numbers. I can get those for you if you would like, but we've put the numbers together and we're fine as far as voters. Columbia South is a very small as far as voters.
Well, as long as you're good with it, I don't have an issue. Yeah, I move we approve it.
Okay, we got a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Okay.
And by the way, this is Debbie Beer. She's our county clerk.
All right, thank you.
Well, at least through the end of the year, to the end
Yes,
of the year,
end of
right?
the year, yes.
Thank you for
And
all
here
you've
it is,
done.
Deanna, as far as, all right, thank you very much.
Now, I don't want to mention dirty words, but I will anyway, maybe. Have we thought about voting centers in this county?
Well, the county election board we've talked about it off and on. And one of the things that we're going to do for this coming election is I think we're going to try out a couple of satellite voting locations in the county, and we're going to see how that goes. Are we headed in that direction? Most definitely. I think most counties are headed in that direction, so.
Okay, yeah.
We're just kind of
Well, I
taking our
like-
time and.
I like
you know,
your
slowly.
idea, because this will
Yeah.
probably not be a huge election, that's good.
Yeah, we've been able to save a lot of money when we combined,
yeah.
and it works very
Yeah.
well for Whitley County. So we'll see, but that is definitely in the future, Don.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Debbie.
What's the change?
Is Amy here? Amy Biggs? Oh, she must be in with, okay. Sheriff Gatton.
Afternoon, sorry I'm not on the agenda, but just received this check on the 31st of July. This is in reference to one of the squad cars that hit a deer on July 7th. What I'm coming to before you is to either ask for a recommendation or to ask you, because I don't know where the money's going to go for sure, that the insurance is sent back from the wrecked vehicle to be applied towards the new vehicles. One's being built right now and the other two are in. So the amount the insurance gave us back was $13,293.
What kind of vehicles are you purchasing?
We have two of the Dodge Chargers that are just in, we have to pick up, and we have one Dodge Durango, our sports utility, being built right now.
Okay.
Is this the first? You had to worry about this, or
We
what'd you
have,
do with it before?
before we would, if they were decent vehicles, we'd ask to trade them in, like we did with that one pickup truck, to get value back to take off the price. This was one that was gonna be, we just didn't expect it to hit a deer up on county line before we approached that.
Well, so what we have is this check has to go to general fund.
Okay.
And so then general fund's gonna have to write a check for $13,290 plus whatever money you need for the car, right?
Right.
I just don't see that as, Mr. Auditor, do you see that as an issue? I didn't think so
Does
either.
that have to go to council then?
Yeah, I think, because they have to appropriate
Yeah.
to allow me to appropriate that check back into.
Yep.
So I guess then if it's going to county general, I would request from you guys a favorable.
Oh, I'd make a favorable pass to the council, because it will need an additional appropriation, so.
Okay, we got a motion for a favorable pass.
Second.
We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Just before you go, no, not that big a deal. No, not that big a deal. I was going through the claims the other day and saw that we had to pay Paulding County $94 or something to serve a warrant, to serve a subpoena. Do we get, if we serve from outside the county, do we get?
We get a sheriff's service fee depending on whether they send us back the money or not. But
Yeah.
Ohio's one big one where they charge us, if they house an inmate for us, they send us a bill
Yeah,
until we pick them up. Indiana just has.
I see. Well, it just looked like a revenue stream. I mean, and if we have to pay,
And we had to pay for what, serving their papers? Or they?
No.
no, I think we paid them to serve ours. So.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so, I don't know, it just sounds like something that if it's the norm or coming the norm, I think we ought to get in on
I
that.
think that is
I
the way
doubt
it's
if it
set.
happens very often, but,
Right, it does. There's not many states, Ohio, I can stand here and tell you this one.
yeah, so, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amy here yet? Yeah. Nathan, do you want to do the plat approvals real quick?
Sure can.
Again, this is Nathan Bilger, he's our Planning and Building Director.
Two plats that were approved by the Plan Commission in June. Black Hill, Section 2, which is a 2-lot plat. And then also have Middle Pond, which is a 1-lot plat.
Did you realize you gave us 3 copies of that today? This morning when you came.
He
One
did
for
bring
each
him.
of you.
Oh, jeez. Okay, I have an idea to save money.
Actually, that would have come from Walker & Associates, so
Okay.
save them a little bit.
Since it's already been approved by the planning commission, I move we approve the Black Hills subdivision.
A second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the Black Hills Section 2 subdivision. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you. And then Middle Pond, opposite side of the county. If I recall right, it's right up against the Kosciuszko County line, actually. And it too was approved in June.
I move we approve Middle Pond subdivision.
Got a motion to approve Middle Pond subdivision.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Pen, please.
And thank you for the consideration of right-of-way.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Did you have anything else, Nathan?
I'll update you real quick, I guess. Just to bring you up to speed, you should have gotten an email on Friday, what hopefully will be one of the last drafts regarding confined feeding operations and residential development. That should be at public hearing at Plan Commission on the 15th. So if you've got questions about that or have questions raised to you, feel free to contact me. I'd like to walk it through at some point before you see it, at this meeting anyway. But whether you want to hear about it before the Plan Commission or not, but if you wish, I'm available to do so. So
Okay.
hopefully it addresses a lot of the concerns. There were a lot of things, unfortunately, that didn't work out as well. But hopefully it's a step in the right direction.
Good compromise.
Yes.
Thank you,
Always right.
Nathan.
Thank you.
Amy. This is Amy Biggs. She's our director for the emergency management.
My apologies, you had to skip me earlier. I was addressing another permit issue.
Why do you sit back there in the back row?
With trouble back there. Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. Passed out to you a reference sheet requesting permission to explore further the opportunity to take possession of a vehicle. Prior to Chief Hively's retirement with Columbia City Police Department, he had approached our office about taking possession of what used to be a combined Sheriff's Department and Police Department old ambulance that they had converted into a SWAT vehicle. Not really being part of the community at that time, I didn't have any history associated with that. But they had taken possession, I guess, when the team was dissolved and been maintaining the vehicle on a regular basis. He approached me with the idea of taking possession of that vehicle in order to be able to resell it and take the proceeds from that to work towards a project that we have on the books we've been working over the last 2 years on, which is a command trailer. It's the trailer that is currently owned by the county and is under the possession of the emergency management. We looked into this, and I've been contacted also by Chief Leatherman, and he is in agreement and support and have made the necessary arrangement on their end with your permission to take possession of that vehicle to work towards that. I met with Jana as well to identify what process would need to be followed in order to place that on the market and find out fair market value. Unfortunately, there is not much like that out there right now on the marketplace that we use. So it's hard for me to estimate an intended value of that vehicle. But the fact that it is in good running order, the fact that the mileage is a little bit high on that, but it has been maintained. I believe if we are able to maintain it in that same capability, then we should be able to get a decent value out of that vehicle. But to price an estimate on that, unfortunately, we weren't able to find anything like it to provide an estimate for it, so.
Amy, did you check into Gov Deals?
That's where we've been looking,
Okay.
yes. That's the website that we've been looking on. And there are other vehicles that are on there. Most of them are not specific for that intended use. They're more of an ambulance use, and most of them have lower miles than that particular vehicle has. So I see that as a detraction, if at all, for the sale of that. But there may be a smaller community that has an interest in subsidizing their specialty team in that way. So that would be the market that we're looking for. But at this point, I need permission to be able to accept possession of that. As I said, the police chief currently, Scott Leatherman, is on board, and he said he has met with the city clerk in that regard of being able to process any paperwork.
Do we have a place to store it, or are they going to store it until?
Currently, right now, they would store it until we could have it be sold. So
good.
that would remain in that situation. So we shouldn't have to ground it or plug it in or move it to any other alternating location, so,
Good.
yes.
Commissioners?
So I make a motion, we take it.
Take it, huh?
Yeah, eBay's another place that way you're marketing around the world,
Sure,
so.
sure. We'll do our best to,
I will offer you my help in any way you want to market this thing.
okay, I appreciate that, because we may have certainly some other valuable contacts that may be of interest, so.
I'll second Don's motion.
Okay, we got a motion to approve acquiring the police SWAT vehicle. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions while you have me at the desk?
I probably bought this the first time,
You probably did. You probably did.
Was it new then? Huh? Was it new?
Yeah. It was new then.
Just sharing with you for the benefit of the community too. Last week was a very busy week for emergency management. We actually hosted 3 events in the county, which were all intended to gain better awareness and preparedness. On Saturday, we hosted a rail training class that we had multiple responders from around our area and our adjacent counties that attended. This was put on for free at zero cost to the county through the University of Findlay, Ohio. They came in with their instructors and their props to be able to train responders in the area. We had about 20 people participate in that training. We also hosted on Wednesday a training for individuals using the telecommunications capabilities on their radios. It was through the state IPSC, which is the Integrated Public Safety Commission, came in and they hosted a program, and we hosted that at the Peabody Library. And then on the previous Monday, we had hosted an event with a nationally acclaimed speaker. We received grant funding for that entire program to be able to have him come in and teach our school educators, counselors, teachers, law enforcement about precursors in teen violence. So last week was a very active week for training, and emergency management was a large part in bringing many of those programs to the community for free, and then working with our networks and our partnerships of public safety to get attendees to attend those. So just a little bit of activity of what we've been doing outside of our normal event planning and staffing and weather preparedness. So
Great
just wanted to
job.
share that with you.
Yep, we appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have we got some bad storms coming in today? Is that what I
This
saw?
afternoon, I think they're going to be relatively light. Honestly, you may have some
Okay.
wind, Downpour, though, will be heavy rains. We're anticipating 2 inches over the course of this afternoon into Tuesday. So if you do have any areas that are low-lying, you could see some flash flooding in those low-lying areas. But otherwise, I think we'll survive okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brandon Forrester, Salt Barn Construction Bid Notice. Brandon is our county engineer and highway director also.
Hello. Yeah, I've been working on the bid specs for the construction of the salt building. We took bids on the materials previously, and I believe we are ready to advertise for that construction bids. And Jana has a copy of the bid notice. I sent you copies of the bid notice and the specs, and I've had our building consultant review those, and I believe it's all good to go. We got advertised twice before the September 4th meeting when I propose that we accept the construction bids.
Have you any idea of the amount of interest out there in building this?
We had 3 contractors contact us when we advertised for the material.
Perfect, okay.
So, and there's
Good,
another.
I didn't know whether it was like one in the state of Indiana, you know, and so
Right.
get in line or.
Right. Well,
Okay.
it's a specialized structure, so.
Yeah, it is. That's why I wasn't sure. Great.
The Form 96 that goes with this bid is good in that it requires the contractor to provide us references and experience and financial statements, and so I believe we'll hopefully get the best contractor.
I'd make a motion that we move ahead with the notice to bidders and keep the project running.
I'll second it.
Gonna motion to approve the Salt Barn Construction Bid Notice. We've got a second. Any further discussions?
Yeah, but is there any down here around close to look at?
There's one, probably the closest one would be over northeast Allen County.
Well, that's pretty close.
Okay, yeah, well, it's northeast, but yeah.
Is that
I
off
can
of
get you a
Carroll Road
location.
then?
No.
Oh,
You know,
say
or
it's
by Harlan, right?
Deer Run or something.
Yeah. It'd
It's
have
the
to be out in-
same Wheeler
kinda
is
out
the
in Harlan area, I
manufacturer.
think.
Oh, he's in,
I can get
East,
you,
okay.
get you a map or directions if you want.
No, I don't want to see it, but I just wondered, for you guys, wanted to look.
Well, we saw LaGrange County, when we purchased that Great All, we looked at theirs, real nice facility, yeah.
good. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Okay, today opened the call for projects for the 2018 community crossings. I've been, had a meeting at NDOT last week. I've been up on all the emails. We've submitted our updated asset management plan to LTAP for their approval, which was the first step. So, and we have until September 28th to turn in an application. So I've got a good project in mind. I just downloaded and printed some other FAQs and all that raised a big question for me, but I'll be working towards applying for that. Depending on the number of submissions and the value of those applications, each county or each city, town, county could receive up to $1 million in additional funding. So we will be working towards getting some additional funding. We advertised for, received applications, interviewed, and offered a young man the new truck driver position that came available when the council approved the drainage assistant position. So this young man, and I'll wait to announce his name, but he will start August 27th, which is the beginning of pay.
Do you have a truck for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He might just get in on the end of chip sealing, which by today, at the end of the day, well, they're probably done chip sealing for the day. We're about 2/3 done. We've been working at it for 4 weeks, which means we're on schedule to do 100 miles in about 6 weeks.
We were just wondering this morning, is there any roads you haven't chip sealed? Seems like we've run into about all of them.
Yeah, there's a few.
They're looking good. They
Yeah.
really are looking good.
A lot of them are, yeah, and, you know, some of these roads we're just trying to save to keep from falling apart. Some of them are, you know, just in need of some good preventative maintenance and to keep them so they don't get to that point where you're worried about them falling apart, so. Yeah, we're this will be 3 years in a row at about 100 miles, so that'd be, yeah, 300 miles would be more than half of the hard surface roads.
Right.
In addition to that, we hired a contractor to do some crack sealing, which also will, you know, help preserve pavement. You see a lot more of that in Columbia City. In fact, you see a lot of crack sealing in Columbia City. I had planned for some of the money that was budgeted to spend on that, and they came right in. We got 3. We got Lincoln Point, Donatello's Village, and Belisano, which are the 3 curb and gutter subdivisions that we have. And I'm not sure that any of them have been touched as far as crack sealing in quite some time, if ever. So hopefully that will help. Well, I'm sure it will, but crack seal is a part-time or a temporary fix, just like everything. Roads fail. We purchased a 1,000-gallon tank to hold our liquid for our total patcher, and we mounted it in the back of one of our older trucks that we wouldn't use necessarily for chip sealing. We were using it for snow plowing, but so that allows us basically 4 loads per trip to Warsaw instead of every 250 gallons having to drive to Warsaw. And so the way it's been working, we've got 2 guys on that crew anyways. They just drive both trucks and we get basically 5 loads. So that is in service, and we've purchased at least 2 tanks.
So that's hot oil.
It is hot oil, yes, yes. We looked at a big tank, 8,000 gallons. Sure, you wouldn't have to, you know, they would come deliver it. You wouldn't have to drive over there, but then you've got other issues with A, paying to keep it warm, B, if you keep it too long and don't use it, like over the winter, it can separate and you can have problems, and we just thought, and a lot more money.
I think you found the happy medium here.
I think so, yeah. I have a contractor who took quotes for pavement striping. We'll be striping some roads that we chip sealed last year and didn't get striped, and some roads that we've chip sealed this year that are seeded that were striped previously. About 500,000 lineal feet of paint.
Can I ask if East Old Trail is on that list?
It absolutely is.
It is?
Yes.
I think I failed to tell you I had a request to stripe
Yeah.
East Old Trail, so.
It might have been you. I remember hearing a request.
Okay, I thought I'd forgotten.
I was thinking it was you, Don.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And yes, I'm aware
You
that,
think it's a fall project or yet the summer or? where-
hopefully within next week or so.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you, appreciate that.
Got a couple of right-of-way permits. At least a couple.
Looks like 4.
Okay, a couple.
Okay, the first one I've got is for South Raber Road, and County Road 1000 South to provide gas service to NIPSCO customers.
Move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion, we've got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Well, shit.
Can you change these forms so Tom only has to sign his name once?
I thought about
Need to put
that.
bigger tabs on them.
We could start charging a fee and just let them submit it electronically and make copies for them, and then you don't have to sign it once.
This one here.
A lot of them want to submit them electronically, so they don't have to pay for postage or whatnot, and make 3 copies. This is the way we've
Okay.
always done it.
This way,
Now, get more modern, Brandon.
Yeah.
this is a request for right-of-way permit on 400 North between State Road 9 and 250 East, requesting drainage tile boring for a private drain.
And that contractor came in last week, wanted to get started last week.
You got Growley.
It's private tile, so it doesn't involve the drainage board. They're boring it.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I said, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we got a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
I think we've said before, this boring is terrific because it saves our roads so much, man. Oh, good job. $20.50 South Wolf Road, starting at a pedestal. R19-208/5, bore 30 feet?
Under the road.
Bore 30 feet under the Wolf Road? Okay,
It's just a service. It's just a service.
I see, okay.
Move we approve it.
Got a motion to approve.
Second.
A second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thank you, sir. Okay, County Road 400 North, approximately 576 feet east of the center of the intersection of County Road 400 North and State Road 9. The purpose of the work is to install gas service to farms for the owner at address 4060, Columbia City. This is from who? NIPSCO? This is a NIPSCO request to run service lines.
Right, move I approve it.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Final thing on my list has to do with the, what everyone calls Liberty Mills roundabout. I was told that someone heard on the news that that's going to be open to traffic on the 11th, which is Saturday, which seems kind of odd. Maybe
I think I heard that this morning, too.
Which that's a substantial completion date, understanding there could be punch list items that, may need to get completed, but that'll be a good thing for about 3,500 vehicles a day that travel through there. But the gentleman on the north side of our 900 South, up the corner there, called to ask, because you understand the roundabout, or the circular part is shifted to the south. And I don't know exactly what the area is. I was gonna pull the plans and was working on other things. I didn't get it to you. It wasn't my intention for you to make a decision on this, but to see if you would consider a vacation, if there's any excess right-of-way on the north side of the, right now, he owns the center of the road.
Yeah, and that road's going south.
And the road goes south. So he asked, what are you gonna do with that right-of-way?
Oh my gosh,
Well-
already?
Yeah, well, that could mean two things. That could mean, what are you gonna do with it? Do you wanna get rid of it? Or what are you gonna do with it? Because I want you to maintain it like my lawnscape. And the second one is not gonna happen. So,
You didn't ask.
Oh,
I asked him, I mean, you
Yeah.
wanted it, or, well, maybe. I said, well, I'll
okay.
let me check with the commissioners and see if they would even be willing, and if nothing else, let's talk about it some more, or think about it.
The best motion I could come up with is to table it until a later time.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have enough information right
Sure.
now to deal. I want to see this roundabout done and see what's there, and
that's what
so my motion would be to table the request.
Yes.
Really, I get sort of indefinitely, I guess. Is that legal?
Have you got a recommendation at this time?
No, I told him, let's wait until the project is
Yeah.
complete and take a look at it.
Yeah.
But he called back again, and I said, look, I'll put it to the commissioners, and we'll have a discussion, and we'll see,
So,
Okay, we got a motion to-
I'm sorry, I thought that was a motion. but-
Motion to table.
Second.
Got a second? Further discussions? And this is to table the right-of-way discussion until the project is completed.
Yeah.
And any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
And if he bugs you, tell him that's not a no or anything, we don't know,
well, sure.
not yet.
That's all I got. You got any questions for me?
No, I've heard good things. I keep getting compliments on the roads, so keep up
Well,
good work.
Well, that's good that they're calling you with compliments and just us.
We didn't used to have that.
When you chip seal a road, you improve it, you extend its life. Yes, you're not paving it, but some people just, they might be responsible enough to slow down when there's oncoming traffic. Traffic is still doing 60 past them, you throw stones at the
Right.
windshield.
Right.
Well,
We can't-
another alternative you have is to go in with hot or cold patch and patch places in the road, right? So-
Well, we have done some of that.
Right, but if you visit our neighbor to the north, they've done massive amounts of that. And all that gives you
Yeah, right.
is this, because as hard as they try, you can't make it smooth. And I travel those roads a lot up there, and they've just done a vast amount of that kind of. I prefer our chip seal.
Well, we did some wedge and level /chip seal on
Yeah,
Airport
yeah.
Road and 250 West. And as I predicted, we got people call in, I mean, within 2 hours of us start chip sealing those roads. What are you doing? It was a perfectly good paved road and you went and chip sealed it. Well, I mean, we put an average of 3/4 of an inch. Wish we could do that with every road, level it up before we seal it. So we just keep chipping away at it.
Well, the roads are big improved, so that's the best part.
That's what we're here for.
Probably not your road, using that "your" as a general thing,
That's the most.
You know, the
that's
worst road-
most important road.
The worst road in the county is
Your road.
my road.
We know.
That's what we hear.
Yep.
That's what we hear.
Thanks, Brandon. Okay, next on the agenda is Scott Wagner. He's our Health Department Director for well exemption.
She got the paperwork before
Yeah.
for James Oldwell. He's adding a porch to his property. Wheelers have looked at it. It's going to be 8 foot away. Looks like it should be a simple exemption for him. If you want to pass that, he'll sign the release from the health department and indemnify the commissioners and have it recorded.
Make a motion to approve the request.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Thank you. And any questions for me while I'm here?
Thank you. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Scott.
Darr, grant voucher signature.
Another easy one for you.
Okay, quarterly report.
Yep.
Voucher.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to
Have the
approve.
chairman sign.
We've got a second with the chairman signing. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
That was too easy. Sandy Gray, introduction of the new director, Abbi Ogden, and the Humane Society update.
I appreciate your time on your agenda today, gentlemen. I wanted to come and tell you a little bit about what's going on at the shelter and introduce you to Abbi also. Did you all receive our brochure?
Yes.
Okay. There's a couple of things. First off, I'll introduce myself. I'm Sandy Gray, and my day job is as a performance analyst with American Electric Power. My passion is the Whitley County Animal Shelter. I've been volunteering since 2009, and I'm currently serving my second year as president of the board. So in this brochure, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things on the inside of it in the blue square that we've been done that we're pretty proud of. In 2017, we were able to upgrade our technology quite a bit, which really needed to be done. We had an animal tracking system called Paw Tracks that was at least 10 years old, maybe older, which in IT terms is ancient. And we really needed to get something better than that. So we're able to do that. It's called Pet Point, and it's really working out very well for us. We also had an anonymous donor purchase a new communication tool called Constant Contact, which is an email tool that we can use to send out notices of fundraisers and volunteer meetings and all kinds of things. It's a more professional-looking tool than what we've ever had before. We were able to also update our website, which needed to be done because it was not compatible with iPhones. So we do have a mobile app now that's compatible with iPhones that works well with our website, so it all syncs together very much better than it did before. Some other upgrades that we've done to the physical building we have is we've gotten light fixtures upgraded. And we're hoping that that's going to show up as quite a lot of cost savings for us in the long run with our utility bills. The middle section, where did they go? A lot of this surprises a lot of people that people don't realize this, but we get potential adopters coming to our shelter from all over. And it just shows the power of the internet. You can go on Pet Finder, for example, and shop for any particular breed of dog or cat that you want, and shop the whole nationwide at one time. And that's how we get interest in people coming to our shelter from Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and last year was as far away as New York. That we had an animal that they were interested in, that they were willing to come here to adopt. I just think that's amazing. And it does show the power of the internet. And some of these people would have no other reason to come to Columbia City except for the shelter and the services that we offer. So I think that's pretty amazing. The same thing with, I don't know if you've heard of our program Neuter for Nickel. We do a one-day mass neuter for male cats every year. We're kind of toying with the idea of maybe doing 2 this year. But that also draws people in from all over, Bluffton, Decatur, Warsaw. It truly is only a nickel. That's all we actually ask people for, is a nickel. And we have all of our volunteers, vets, and all of our volunteer vet techs that come and help us with that. It's an amazing day. Like you had said before, there are some amazing, or some recent changes that have happened. Sandi Group just retired in July as our director. She was director for 5 years. And as far as I know, she has been our longest serving director. So we already miss her. But I know it was a well-deserved retirement. So Abbi Ogden is here with me today. She's our new director. And she has had 5 years of experience with the shelter. She is a registered vet tech. So we're already off and running with new ideas from Abbi. We tend to share the same philosophy in that there's lots of things we want to do, but we know there's never going to be enough money to do it all. So we're just trying to focus on working smarter and not harder. We're looking at our the physical environment. Are we as efficient as we can be? We're looking at our forms. We're looking at the hours that we're open. Is that what's best for potential adopters? All kinds of things are kind of in the works that we're exploring. So there may be a few changes to come that you'll notice in the community. I know some of you have probably heard about one of these cases anyway. In 2018 so far, we've had a couple of hoarder cases. And you probably heard about the Drudge German Shepherds, though that one did make the newspapers. Just to fill you in a little bit about that, we actually made 4 trips to that person's residence to check out those dogs. And on the 4th trip, we actually did seize 14 German Shepherds that were, I don't even want to say living, I want to say housed in a horse trailer. It was disgusting. They all needed extensive medical treatment. They were not socialized very well at all, so they required a lot of time, extra attention to get them to where they were adoptable, which we did. And we were able to, we picked them up in February, and by mid-April, we were able to get all 14 of them adopted. We did not have to euthanize anybody. So we consider that a huge accomplishment. We've also had other hoarder cases. Our most recent one this year was a house with 46 cats in the same house. Filthy conditions, again, very inhumane. We were not able to save them all. We were able to keep 16 of them and get them ready for adoption. Some have been adopted. We still have a few left. So those cases are out there. We do the best we can with them. They are challenging. They stretch us to the max as far as time and you know, supplies and things to take care of animals like that. They require more care than your average stray that's brought to us. But we do the best we can with it, and the staff is great, and the staff knows that we are probably their only chance to ever have a decent life. So So I just wanted to highlight a couple of those things and let you know that we're always looking to improve, and there probably will be changes that you'll see coming down the road. So do you have any other questions for me or Abby?
Yeah, have Abby come up here. We want to talk to her too.
Okay.
Poor Abby.
Stacy says to tell you hello, by the way, Mr. Amber.
So you've been working out here at our facility for, what'd she say, 5 or 6?
Yeah, on and off. I started as an intern in high school.
Oh, you did?
Went to college and then came back as a full-time employee 3.5 years ago. So
Good. You, as a relatively new person, a relatively young person, I'm sure you see some things that could be improved on. And that's what we're always looking for.
yeah.
Got a challenge in front of you.
I'm excited.
Good, but we always have the money challenge.
Yes, and we realize that. We realize that. So we're always looking to pinch and save where we can.
Now, we're not Lake County. I know that. There's a big difference. But they have a mobile, it's called the neuter scooter. Yeah. And I didn't know if that was anything that in Whitley County would there be?
I think it's its own program, isn't it? Like it's not run by anyone. Like
Oh,
I think
you know what? I don't know.
I think it's a program that goes throughout multiple counties and does the neuter
Oh, it
scooter.
does.
And
Okay. Okay.
I don't know that you
Yeah.
like hire them, but you
Yeah.
invite them in to do it at your facility. Was my understanding.
So,
'Cause I was thinking of an
who
old
funds them?
SWAT truck or something, you know?
You know who funds them?
I have no clue. I don't know. I know it's been in Kosciuszko County before, but
Oh,
I
it
think
has?
that's the
Oh, it has?
closest
Okay.
it's been
Okay.
to us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I learned about it in Lake County. Well, there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of people live there. I get that, so. Okay, well,
Anyway, well, keep your ears open.
Yeah.
welcome, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Thank you.
We appreciate the report, the update.
Yep, thank you.
If you ever would like to take a tour, let us know.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think my wife will let me, because
That's
I'd
the
probably
problem.
take something home with me, so.
So what's your hours down there now?
Different every day,
Oh.
closed on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 12 to
Well, thanks again. Okay. How about minutes? Everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes. Any additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion, we approve them as written.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, Don had a chance to go over all the claims.
I would start by approving the payroll claims.
Okay, we got a motion to approve payroll claims.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
And I've got to be honest with you, there just was nothing outstanding on the other claims, so I make a motion that we approve the claims as presented.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the claims, the regular claims as presented. We've got second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Here's the first set.
Angie, our Human Resources Coordinator.
Okay, Mayor Daniel had previously requested to use the courthouse square for movie on the square for September 7th. That was approved on March 19th. Actually, I lied. That was approved on April the 2nd. Due to Columbia City High School's homecoming, they're requesting to amend that to occur on August 25th instead of September 7th.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we got a second, further discussions, all those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
So there's that one.
They're doing a barbecue cook-off that day as well.
Oh, really?
For you barbecue fans.
Who is?
Main Street Association sponsoring like a barbecue cook-off, so there'll be. At night, so.
That's also, not to make a difference, that's also the same day as Cam's Cause, our mush ball tournament that we have in Cherubusco.
Talking about mush ball, Team Whitley County for the Corporate Challenge plays their mush ball game tonight. Diamond number 3 down at Morses Park, 6 p.m. against the city. Although there's no one here to announce it to. Go Whitley County. They're currently in first place right now, so.
Are you playing?
No, I'm not. When I got the call, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't even know what mush ball is. I know I should know that, but I didn't know what it was.
It's softball with a
The
bigger
big ball, that's what she said.
And no mitts.
Yeah, that's exactly what
pitch.
Julie said.
One pitch.
Well, now I know, but, okay.
Well, August 25th, come to Busco and you can watch a lot of it. We got about 15 teams already.
Really good. That's pretty impressive.
No, it is, it's good. Everybody just has so darn much fun. There's no real competition to it, it's just go have fun, so.
Mayor Daniel also is requesting to use this room for city council meetings and Board of Works meeting on Tuesday, August the 28th, from 4:30 to 8, like he did in the past. The council chambers still aren't complete for their renovation, so.
I think I'd make a motion, we approve that, but we need to make sure we get with the maintenance people, so it's open and afterwards they can lock up, okay?
I'll check with Dan. Between Dan and Nathan, they were the ones that made sure it was locked last time, but we'll.
Yeah, okay, good, good.
Okay, we got a motion to approve.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
The motion.
Motion to approve the
Got a second?
town meeting, city meeting.
Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
The last one is Nancy Zumak has requested to host a wedding in the gazebo on the courthouse square for this Saturday at 6 p.m.
Just the gazebo?
Just for the actual ceremony, from what
Move we
I
approve it.
understand.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we got a second. Further discussion?
Because I told him.
All those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same.
I know, I'm glad you approved that. I was a little worried.
It's already went out.
Yeah, since it's this Saturday.
I know.
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be a little tough.
she called and I was not in, so, I've been off for a couple weeks, so.
How did they get to this gazebo without?
Isis Gaff and Zach Ivy.
No.
Interesting.
Jump from the sidewalk.
There you go.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Isis Gaff and Zach Ivy.
Okay.
Oh, it's today the 6th.
Happy marriage.
They better rethink that.
Okay, that was all of the requests to use county facilities that I had. I did hear back from Addie at Wagner, Irwin, Shealing Associates, and she has already drafted the memo that she would like to go out to department heads, so I will be hopefully sending that out today for the job classification revamp, to host a department head meeting on August the 27th at 10 a.m., and they're hoping to meet with 9 departments that day to discuss, to basically to get, yes, a clear understanding of your department and organizational chart type of thing.
Are we clear from Frizzell? That's severed?
Never heard a
Yes.
word from him after.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's bringing 3 people with her, and would like to spend at least an hour with each department that they meet that day. So I reserved room C. I figured we could set up in there for 3 Wagner, Irwin, Shealing Associates with 3 different departments at a time. She said the larger departments may take closer to an hour and a half, but we should be okay there. And then the meeting that will occur with all department heads will last approximately an hour. So,
Get going forward on that. It's been
yes.
Yeah.
a long haul here.
Glad we're moving.
Yes, I told her I was very excited. I was glad she sent that email last week, so, whew, yeah. Other than that, I think we're good to go.
Okay, Matt, anything else?
Just one other thing that I need to probably circle back with you on, this whole Medicaid for the jail inmates. Angie and I are going to talk about it a little bit afterwards, and I'll get this back to
Yeah,
you.
I did talk to the sheriff, and I talked to Jody about that, and they're under the opinion that it would just be an additional cost to them, that they're already covered
Okay.
with Medicaid.
There's a lot of additional reporting, and, okay, so just don't worry about this. Sounds good. I'd look through it.
If they didn't want to go forward with it, there's no sense us.
Okay.
That's the
And
one
that's the
where
one with
we're like the
Stephanie.
only one?
Yeah.
Okay. Seems
what
odd.
was-
I think
It
12
does.
counties or something.
There's,
Is there
yeah.
something
One
like-
of 12.
Now, when you're talking Medicaid, I can imagine the voluminous paperwork. I don't have a problem with that
Yeah.
for a 35-cent rebate, so.
There's a lot of reimbursables that would have gone back to them, and a lot of reporting, and so I get it. I don't know.
I
Like
think
you,
we're-
with 90 or 80 of them that have gone with that, I'm curious.
I think what we need to keep our eye on, whatever it is, this reimbursement from the state that we weren't getting paid. Has anybody checked in with Mark lately? Are you seeing any money?
Yes,
You are?
yep, yep.
Like kind of on a regular basis?
Yeah, we actually got a lot on the 31st.
I'm thinking I just opened a letter, or someone else opened a letter, and I just read it today about some reimbursement.
That's good.
But I could
It's a
be-
lot of money.
Quite a bit.
But my stack
A
is
lot of money.
tall, so I'm not as,
Check back in a month.
at least a few days.
Gotten quite a bit, like, on the 31st, we got 168,770 plus 173,425 plus another 25.
No complaint. It was like 31,000 the last of that, so.
Now, will that go into that public safety fund? Is that where that goes then, Janet?
It goes into county general.
Okay. So will they be requesting to use that monies? I guess.
Well, I guess if I was them, I would probably say, hey. No, I just, just being honest with you.
Yeah.
They're gonna. However, when there's a need for something, we might have a money source.
Yeah.
Maybe we could control that pot. So, I don't know.
Does that go into a separate item then?
No, it just goes into
Just
cash
goes in-
balance.
Okay.
You just know if we say, hey, how much
So-
did,
Yeah, so if you look at it this way, that's gonna help fund their part of the county general budget, if that makes sense.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's still a win-win.
Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, did you have anything else, Janet? Commissioner?
No, no. I don't have anything.
I probably have something that's that may turn out to not be popular, but,
That's not the first.
well, this seems so simple, but I'm sure it's not. In the state of Ohio, you can't mow your grass and blow your grass onto a roadway. It's very dangerous for motorcyclists, especially if it gets wet. The mayor, in the last couple of days, has presented to the city council or announced that they have an ordinance. Their problem here is it gets in the storm drains. That's their problem. My problem is, and I saw this vividly this summer, mowing side roads and throwing the stuff out on the road, and it was raining. Now, I know you'd go, who's gonna mow in the rain? Well, they were. And I thought, oh my gosh, if a motorcycle would come along. So I just kind of like to maybe suggest that at some point in time, we pass an ordinance that you can't blow your grass when you mow it into the roadway.
Does that have to be state, or can we do it?
I'm only talking county roads now, so, okay, well, I don't think we can control what.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because this weekend, I was on 500, between 109 and 9, and somebody had mowed, and it was just piled right out into the road.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether to swerve, because I saw that there were like cans, aluminum cans that were in there, and
anything in
I
the
thought about
side
that.
ditch that gets blown out, it's
Yep.
gonna go there, so,
and never thought about a motorcycle, but motorcycle hit that.
especially when it's wet, so, yeah.
So maybe if our
If it were,
distinguished,
in terms of, would you be talking about somebody mowing their grass, or like the highway department, or a farmer mowing his, side? Are we talking about in any scenario?
Yeah,
Don't
yes, sir.
blow it on the,
Yes, sir. It would be illegal to mow and blow your grass onto the roadway.
I think our new mowers on the highway they blow it back instead of out now.
Well, actually, that's where my complaint comes from.
Was it?
Yeah. It was awful on the Anderson Road. I bet it was that deep.
Well, I bet you it
And I
wasn't
thought,
on
why don't
500.
we set that mower to not blow it on the road?
Yeah.
We set it to blow it off the road somewhere, so.
Well, I know we've got a couple of new people,
Yeah,
so
so
maybe we need to just
I'd like to think about that and,
I'll start looking into.
okay, thank you. That's all I had, thank you.
Okay, I've just got a couple of things. The landfill, we have, we're going to be required to do 4 times a year the mowing instead of just once a year. So, and that gets to be a large price at $2,000 each. We talked about possibly going ahead and getting a bid for that, so.
That was kind of an idea that I had, is that if this is getting to be a big deal, perhaps we ought to request bids to mow it.
Yeah, IDEM is starting to work.
We also, what about county highway mowing it?
Well, and that
But
was,
they can't get the roads, keep up with the roads.
That would be my guess, yeah, that'd be my guess, so.
There's 20 acres up there,
35.6 or something.
35.
Can you plant?
At $10, it's 350.
No, because the
I don't know.
IDEM has
I
to be able to
don't
get
know how
out
yet.
there and do testing, because we've got
Patty pays
stacks out there for the methane, and they have to be able to get out there.
$2,500
And
a
they've
year,
had
a
issues
year
with coyotes
to mow
and
4
fox out there,
cemeteries.
and they just,
I know it's not the same,
They're not
I just don't.
But they mow them every
Rent it
week
to
about.
somebody who could plant.
Yeah, 4 times a year.
Take care
Oh,
of it.
4
I
times
don't
a
know,
year.
we could check on that.
They can mow them as many as they want to,
Possibility.
but it has to be done by Memorial
The,
Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and one other at their convenience.
Barnstormers use it for their flights, but the question was from our distinguished attorney here was, could we buy some goats and put them out there?
I have no problem with that.
Fence it.
Well, I wonder if you couldn't plant alfalfa on it and just rent it to somebody. I don't know if you can.
I don't know if it'd grow, because it's not topsoil by any means.
You don't think it can grow on it, yeah. So
because it's,
Some people they've taken some cement out there, and it's just,
but you know, 35 acres at $10 a trip is $350. So, you know, $20 each time, that's $700. That's a lot different than 2,000.
I think we should start by a set of bid specs.
okay.
This is what we got, give them the address, let any interested person go out there and look at it, or give them a tour, and take bids on it.
You know, that one thing that I've, we've talked to maintenance on that, Mark,
Yeah.
and what they're suggesting that they need an extra person, and that they need a truck for them to
Yeah.
be able to do that. And
Yeah.
I guess,
I think just privatize it,
yeah.
us not have to worry about it, because you do. We might have to get a mower, we'd have to get a trailer, you have to get a truck,
Yeah.
have to pay the person,
Take it back and
probably in a whole lot more money. Maybe surprised, maybe pleasantly surprised about how much money we can save here.
I will ask that Mark come up with some bid specs
Okay,
on that,
okay,
though.
yeah. Yeah, I guess
You're
that
okay
would
with
kind of
that?
fall in his bailiwick, sure, yeah. Okay.
It's truly county facility.
And tell them we don't necessarily have to mow that area on the east side of town, okay?
Yep. Also, the last time we met with our insurance agent and got our new pricing, they asked that we would, it's been, I don't know, how many years, 8 years since we've had appraisal on any of the buildings? And so they asked that we have another appraisal done. They gave us a name of someone that was reasonable that they get a discount with, which was great. It's Deo Stone Associates. I talked to the gentleman, and we sent him a bunch of information, pictures, and square footage. He came up with a building-only fee of $3,200, and I'd like to be able to present that to council in the morning if...
What do you mean, building only, though?
All that we need is the appraisal of the buildings, not the inside, the
Yeah, the
computers.
structure itself.
Yeah.
And you take the landfill, we'd have nothing, right?
Right.
Because there's nothing there, so
Yeah.
to replace the building.
The buildings. Yep.
Exterior, yeah, well, that's isn't that a great price?
Oh, I was shocked.
I am too.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, we got a lot of buildings.
yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of times, I know with this...
I'm sorry, I make a motion that we give this a favorable pass to the council tomorrow.
Okay, we've got a motion to provide this Deo Stone Associates bid to county council in the morning.
Give me an idea how fast they can do it? Or is it expedient, or is it
Doesn't
just
have to be.
something?
We just have to have it done this year.
Okay,
They just,
okay.
to be able to give us a firm price
Sure.
on our insurance.
Sure.
So we've got a motion. Second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. I think that's all I had. Met with a young lady from the Youth Services Bureau, would like to be able to use Whitley County facilities for a safe place network. And I think we need to look into that a little bit more, so I'll later
Turn that over
present
to
that.
Angie.
Yeah.
Whose side are you on?
And I think that's all I have right now. Any public comment? We're down to 2 already.
Yeah, we're losing our public. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. So moved.
The